Good morning. My name is Mr. Brout. I am a physics teacher here at Robert Gordon's College. I also have the pleasure of teaching astronomy. Now, astronomy is a course I'm very passionate about because I think it's fair to say I am an absolute space nut. I love anything to do with space. And today is World Space Week, so I'm here to talk to you about this global celebration looking at our foray into space, the adventures that we've had so far, and where we may be going next. It all started with this. This is Sputnik 1. This is the first man-made satellite to continuously orbit the Earth, or successfully orbit the Earth. It was only about 58 centimeters in diameter, the silver sphere at the front, but it was an amazing game changer. Short version of the story, the Russians launched this into space, and the rest of the world didn't really know it was coming. And then anyone that had a CB radio, ham radio, basically a beefed up version of a CB radio, just heard this ping, ping, ping. And this was amazing. For so many people, it had always been Earth is where we live and space is out there. It's something completely separate from us. But this started to merge where we live into space. It started to stop being that crisp divide. Now, most people will recognise this. This is the Hubble Space Telescope. This is one of our most profitable human satellites. This has been orbiting around the Earth for over 25 years now, taking amazing images. It's able to look back in time to the distant parts of the universe, to basically the baby pictures of the universe as a whole. This is another man-made satellite. This is the International Space Station. Now, most people don't think of it as a satellite because it is so big. It's about the size of a rugby pitch. So, end to end, it is huge. Now, obviously, it didn't go up looking like that. It went up in lots of individual pieces. It's been rearranged over time, a bit like if you've got a set of Lego. And this is its current configuration. Now, this is more what people are familiar with if you say a satellite. This satellite is one that could be doing GPS, it could be doing Earth observations, weather forecasting, or it could just be doing telecoms. It does a huge variety of things. Now, satellites are hugely important to the UK space economy, not just because they provide us with the data, but actually, the UK is one of the world leads in producing these kind of satellites. Now, it all started with this. This is a V2 rocket. Now, at the end of World War II, we'd got to a situation where we had got sick of killing each other up close, and we tried to figure out how to do that from a distance. So the V2 rocket really gave us the beginnings of the intercontinental ability to annihilate each other. So this rocket had a huge range on it. Now, at the end of the war, scientists took an opportunity. They took this rocket, modified it, and then there was something that was then called the R2 rocket. And the R2 rocket was the one that was able to deliver Sputnik up into orbit. Now, opportunity, that's what I'm wanting to talk to you about today. Now, any space geek who mentions the word opportunity is instantly going to think of this. This is the Opportunity rover. This is one of a pair of twin rovers that went to Mars in 2004. This one's Opportunity, its sister was Spirit. They both landed in January 2004. Spirit ran till 2009 when it got stuck in sand, and it continued sending data back to 2010. Opportunity, however, kept going. It's been sending back new and useful information up until today, when it's still going. For example, down the bottom of this image, you might see a little white patch. This is from a drilling arm located on the front of the rover, and it's able to dig through the rock, not to find the weathered material that sits on top, but what is the underlying structure of the geology on Mars. This is part of what we're doing to try and find out where the water is on Mars, and is life, or has life been viable on that planet. Now, it ran, or so far it's run, for over 4,850 days against its original expectation for the mission of 90-day minimum. So it's well surpassed that. In fact, it's gone over 50 times the minimum mission threshold. It's also managed to travel over 45 kilometres at this point it's travelling up Mount Sharp. Now 45 kilometres doesn't sound like a huge distance to you and I, but that's because we can go in a car that can do 70 miles an hour and things like that, whereas this has to decide its route. It has to make sure it doesn't injure itself, it doesn't puncture one of its wheels, it doesn't get stuck in sand as its sister did. It's got to make sure it is very, very safe. Because if it breaks down, no one can go and help it. Now, NASA have a copy of this rover in JPL at California, but unfortunately they didn't want to let me have it. So I've had to be a little bit more creative with how I'm going to show it to you today. What I have is basically an image. The image looks like a set of rocks. It looks a little bit boring, but this is what's called an augmented reality marker. And what this allows me to do is to switch, using my iPad, to seeing something that looks remarkably different. So, if I load this one up, what you'll see initially will just be the same marker, and if I show it to our robot, appears. Now, here we have a life-size replica of Opportunity rover. Now, it's landed on Mars in its packed configuration. It needs to unpack and wake up. Now, this is huge. Okay, this just gives you the sort of size that we're looking at here. It's facing the wrong way at the moment, so I'm going to get it to rotate around just a little bit. Come and face me. And here we go. Now, the mast on this camera is set to be at 5 feet 2. This mast allows us to see what it would look like on Mars. So the images it's able to take, it's got the 2 eyes, so it can actually give us a stereo image, and it can also then be at the right height for us. Thank you. Now, that's not really the kind of opportunity I wanted to talk to you about. Really, the opportunity I wanted to talk to you about is your future. What does your future contain? You might not think of it now, but space is a big part of your future, of our future as a species. Now, this is the official poster for World Space Week for this year. It shows an astronaut disembarking from a craft onto the surface of the red planet, standing on Mars. Now, this sounds like a grand piece of sci-fi imagining, but then again, so did mobile phones, cars, planes, microwave ovens, once upon a time. But the imagination of people turned these fictional items into reality. And that's the plan of getting to Mars. Now, you get images like these. Mars explorers wanted, surveyors wanted, technicians wanted. This last one caught my eye, teach on Mars. Now, these aren't just a nice little bit of art. This is a serious campaign that NASA is running because they are going to send people to Mars. They plan to do so in the 2030s. Now, my money is on that being the end of the 2030s, so probably 2039. Which, if you factor in the typical age of an astronaut, particularly someone going on a long mission, particularly someone going on a first mission, that means those people are probably in high school right now. Could be you. It could be you. You don't know yet. So, NASA wants to send people to Mars. How are they going to do it? Well, they do have a detailed plan. I'm not going to go through that all at the moment, but it basically comes down to 3 things. First of all, technology. Build the stuff. Exploration. Use it. And science. What can you learn from it? They've been doing this for a long time, but really they're going to do it to a much higher level now. Basically going through an endless cycle of build, use, learn, repeat. Build, use, learn, repeat. Now, anyone that watched the recent BBC programme knows all about opportunity, because that's what these astronauts, or would-be astronauts, took. They took the opportunity to apply for the programme, and they only got on because they'd taken so many opportunities in their lives up until that point. For example, this young lady, third from the right, she is a quantum physicist. Now, she's not the only quantum physicist in the UK, but she is probably the only quantum physicist that also happens to be a professional ballerina. She took the opportunities, and these opportunities that she's taken is what stood her out from the rest of the applicants. Also, this lady on the right, she is a highly qualified RAF pilot. She has a large amount of flight time experience, so that would make her quite eligible for being an astronaut. But that's not all she does. She does a lot of educational work going out into schools, and she's also a mother of a young daughter. Each one of these astronauts has taken the opportunities presented to them and basically followed the guiding motto of our founder, to be the best you can be. You get to be the best you can be by taking all those opportunities. The last slide I'm going to leave you with is this one. Where does space fit into the puzzle of your future? Thank you very much.